Alright guys, today is going to be a great day. I don't know why, but I'm in a super great mood today, and I think it's because this is going to be finished today. So we got the lift kit done. You guys watched that last video. It's completely painted. Just looks absolutely insane. We're still missing a couple things in here. I still have to put the shock on that side. We still have to paint our sway bar and get all of our brackets put back together just for the sway bar linkage and everything. But we don't need that to drive. So what we're about to do is pull the truck into the garage and we're gonna spray this thing, hopefully our final time. I kind of don't really have a choice because this is gonna be the last bit of paint that I have. Truck should finally be done today. This was supposed to take 2 weeks and it's turned into a month ordeal just because I kind of got in way over my head. Kind of thought, you know, this isn't gonna be too bad. Whereas, you know, just do a lot of body work, spend your time prepping it, do everything right, and spray the paint. And that would have been the case because the first coat we laid down looked insane. But I didn't really know what kind of paint I was using. I thought this was like a base and then a clear coat style paint because I didn't really know there was anything besides that. But I found out this was single stage metallic. You can't wet sand it, you can't buff it, and you kind of just leave it how it goes on. And I had a lot of runs and waves the first time. Resprayed it, had a lot of freaking orange peel. I mean, a lot. It looked like a golf ball. Like, not even orange peel anymore. It was like golf ball. Like, just terrible. Sanded that completely down. Sprayed it again. Looks pretty good. Still have some orange peel, so I'm not happy with it. I want this to look insane. And honestly, it's about a week later, and I think because the last time you guys really got a good look at the truck was like 2 days after I had sprayed it, and it looked better than it does now. I think after it dried and fully cured, because it's about, I think it's a week and 2 days after I've sprayed it, I think it kind of got worse since then. So it is very dusty right now. It is very dirty. It's been sitting out here for over a week. But like the orange peel got worse almost. Like the camera doesn't even like really do it justice. Your eyes do so much more. It picks up so much more of the orange peel with your eyes than the camera. But that is the whole reason I wanted to fix it, is because you guys are going to be seeing it and I don't want it to look like this. I want it to look good. I got a couple things to tighten up underneath the truck and we're going to pull it in here in the garage, get it all sanded down. The only problem with this that I'm going to have today is when we originally painted the truck, we took the bumper off and we took the tailgate off, and we did those at separate times because the truck is so long you can't pull it in here enough to paint the tailgate and the bumper and still shut the door. So we have to get this done all in one day because I can't leave my door open overnight. Don't want anybody thinking that that's just an open entry into my house and end up catching a body, if you know what I mean. Well, truck was dead, so I had to jump it off with All Reliable over there and got it all pulled in here. And this is what I'm talking about by not having enough room. So this is about a 2.5, maybe, yeah, about 2.5, not even 3 foot gap. See, I'm almost touching the bumper and I'm almost touching the wall. So this is like just barely enough room for me to get in here and spray. Like ideally you would want more room than that to spray, but I'm just gonna be super careful right there. And then I'll come back over here. This is where we're gonna run into an issue. So you see the garage comes to right here. The tailgate is gonna be directly in the sun, and you know, ideally you don't wanna paint directly in the sun because it's gonna be too hot. The surface is gonna be too hot. So I might pull a canopy out and set up a canopy right here so it's not just direct sunlight on the tailgate. Because if you just have a super hot surface, and this is a darker color, so just think if you have something just sitting in the sun, it's gonna be over 100 degrees, you lay paint on that. It's gonna be too hot for the paint to lay smoothly. It's gonna cause it to either run or bubble, wrinkle. It's gonna cause the paint to do something. So I need to set up something right there just so it's not in direct sunlight, because that ain't gonna work. Not gonna work like that. Okay, I did not film any of it because you guys have seen me tape this truck up and sand this truck like 4 times now, but we've got the plastic that goes over the roof, over the windshield, goes down the back window. And it also goes to about here in the engine bay. And then we've got plastic that goes the rest of the way up and goes down. And we've got everything covered up down here. We've got plastic wrapped all the way around the lift. It goes from that side all the way around into the back. Then we've got some paint paper or whatever you call it on both sides, covering the frame, covering the engine bay, since we went in and painted that all black. Our door handles taped off. We've got our windows taped off. We've got our bolts on our new bumper taped off. We've got the entire truck sanded with 400 grit. We've got the tailgate back on. It is completely sanded with 400 grit. We have our exhaust tips covered, and everything else is still going to be painted underneath the truck. It is now 8:30 at night. I've been out here since 1, so about 7.5 hours straight I've been out here taping off and sanding the entire truck. Was not fun. Truck was dead originally, like I told you guys. Had to jump it off, had to pull it inside. Then I had to tape everything off, sand it down, and now it's too late. I could start painting right now, but the problem with at night, it is cooler, which is a good thing because it's been in the 90s every day. But more bugs come out at night, and I swear it to be true. You can ask my friends, I've said it, but bugs are attracted to the smell of paint. I don't know why, but you can test this out. Paint during the day, there'll be no bugs. Paint at night, every bug around you is going to come and land in your paint, no matter what. So we're gonna wait. I'm gonna come out here at 8 o'clock in the morning when the sun is just coming up behind the house, and we're gonna get our color coat on, our coat of 50-50 mix of color and clear, and then 2 to 3 coats of straight clear on. And then hopefully by then the sun will be right about, freaking gnats flying around me. The sun will be right about here, hopefully. Hopefully by then it'll be about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And by the time the sun gets right about here, which means it would be hitting the back of the truck will have had 2 hours to dry. Because that's the biggest thing I'm running into, is this tailgate and the bed are sticking out of the garage. And when the sun comes up and over the house and sets on this side over here, it is in direct sunlight, and you don't want that. Earlier when I was sanding the tailgate, it was like, I think it was like 7 o'clock, and the tailgate was so hot from the sun that I couldn't leave my hand on it. It was burning my hand. So you don't want to do that with paint. Paint, I think, don't quote me, I'm not a professional with paint, but you want to put paint on around like 75 to 80 degrees. So if the panel itself is like 120 degrees, that's going to cause the paint to do some weird things probably. I don't know, I'm not a professional like I said, but that's just my educated guess.
This is lit.
Here it is. You can tell it's 100 times glossier. It's been about 20 minutes since I put the last coat of clear on, but it's already so much glossier. But there is still orange peel, but now we have a clear coat on it, so we can wet sand and polish that clear. But it's already 1,000 times better than what it was. I mean, just look at the hood, for instance. You can actually see the roof off of the hood this time. So I came out here about 9 o'clock this morning. I cleaned my gun, made sure it was absolutely clean. There was not going to be any old paint particles coming through, because the last thing I had painted was the teal suspension, and I didn't want any of that coming through whatsoever. So I spent a good 30-40 minutes making sure the dome was absolutely clean, and then wiped down the truck 2 times to make sure I got everything off of it. And then we sprayed our first coat of color, just straight color. I used half of the quart on that, did just straight color, and then I mixed in some clear with the rest of the color. So it was kind of like a 75-25 of color to clear. I sprayed a coat with that, and then I mixed in more clear, so it was like 50-50. Sprayed a coat of that, and then I mixed more clear, and it was probably like 40-60 at that point. And I sprayed 3 coats of mixing clear in with it, and each time there was less color coat in that, but there was still the metallic flake, which is how we got this. Let me see if I can get a light that has some battery to show you guys. I don't think any of my lights are charged. Yeah, see, none of my lights are charged. So I'll have to show you guys in the sun. But you guys can already tell the flake difference in this just in the shade and the darkness of the garage. But this laid so much better. So like I said, I did all the mixed coats, and then I did a light coat of straight clear, and then I did 2 super wet coats of straight clear. I was looking up online the best I could find of what you should do, and everyone says, well, what I could find on average was do kind of like a light, almost dust coat. I think it's got some type of certain terminology, but you lay that, and then you do your color coat, and then you want it to flash for 30 minutes. Well, I didn't really have just a color coat. I mean, I had the first coat, but then I was mixing in clear with the color. So my last coat of mixed coat I let sit for 25 minutes. Then I came in, I did my dust coat of clear, and then I sprayed 2 super wet coats of clear on it, and that gave us some thickness. Now I'm gonna let this sit for at least 24 hours in the garage. You're supposed to let a vehicle with a fresh paint job really stay out of the sun for a good like 2 weeks. But I don't think I can leave the truck in the garage for 2 weeks, because we have to paint the frame, we have to rewire our rock lights, we have to paint our rear shocks, we have to get our forces back on it, and Daytona's in 2 weeks. So I'm gonna give it like a day or 2 in the garage to just kind of sit and let that paint cure, and then back it out and see if we can polish it or wet sand it or something. But I want to try and let this paint harden some and gas out. Guys, I'm not really familiar with this terminology. I'm not a painter. I'm a at-home DIYer trying something new and recording it for you guys. But if you can't tell, this turned out a million times better than what it was before. I mean, you guys can actually see me, and like the hood is the best part. I mean, the hood actually has reflection. But in about an hour, I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna take the tape off this door handle, I'm gonna open this door, put the truck in neutral, and I'm gonna push it forward, because I've got about 3, maybe 2.5, yeah, about 2.5 foot right there. And the truck is sticking out by, I'd say, 1.5 feet. So if we could get this the rest of the way in to where we could shut this door, that would be ideal. That way there's no sun hitting the tailgate. And as you can see, it's getting really close to hitting that hitch. I mean, really close. So before we know it, the sun's gonna be hitting this, and you don't want that, because this paint still needs to cure and dry. And if it's in the sun, it's gonna speed up that process and cause it to not dry evenly, and can damage the paint. Okay, it's officially been, I'd say, a week and a half since you guys last saw me or the truck. Ford is done. Ford is tagged, registered. It's all together. You guys saw that in the last video. But the Chevy has been sitting in here completely curing for a week and a half now. I told you guys I didn't really want to mess with it because the paint was still soft. Now, it's not so soft anymore. So I'm debating if I should wet sand it or polish it. So I'm gonna try a little section of some compound and a compound pad, see if it works. If it turns out what I'm happy with, then good. If that doesn't work, then I will wet sand it. But just gonna try it and figure out. So as you can tell, there's definitely still orange peel, but we have a clear coat on it now, so it's not terrible. I'm going to try down here and see if I can make it any better. I don't think just the compound pad is gonna do what I want, because from what I've read online, your orange peel is waves like this. They just go across the surface. So when you sand it, you make those waves smaller, and then you polish it and it fills in a lot of the little cracks. But if you just go in and polish it, you knock everything down altogether. So I guess I'm gonna test a little area, see how well it works, and then if it works good, we'll start the whole truck. All right, so first off, let me start this by saying I'm not a body man, I'm not a paint guy. I don't really know a lot about too much of this. I spend hours watching YouTube videos, reading forums on Doodle, trying to figure out what I should do, and never had anyone train me, never watched anybody in person. I just watched some videos online like you guys are doing right now. That's how I teach myself. So let's start off by looking at this. See how bad that orange peel is? Now, I did this myself. I painted this truck. I had no idea what the hell I was doing, and I got really bad orange peel. But of course the camera doesn't want to freaking work. But yeah, camera doesn't want to work, which is usual. We definitely have some reflection there now. There we go. You guys can kind of see it. This camera wants to do what it wants. You guys can kind of see. But I'm gonna tackle the whole bedside. I mean, on camera the bedside doesn't look terrible, but in person it's horrendous. And that down there, I know you guys can't see it with the camera because of wonderful technology, but it looks great. There's still orange peel in it, there's still some waves and stuff, but it's 1,000 times better than what it was. And honestly, with the amount of flake in this truck and the sunlight, you're not gonna be able to see it at all, so you're gonna have to be looking for the orange peel to see it. Now, I'm gonna get started on this bedside and hopefully get this truck done today. That would be amazing. If I could finish this today, that's already finished. Then I could pull this out, tighten everything in the front down, pull the rear shocks, and start painting the frame black and everything. That would be great. Two days before I'm leaving for Daytona. I'm leaving Wednesday night. It is now Monday. It's about 1 o'clock. Ford is already gone. It's already down in Florida waiting for me to get there Wednesday night. And this is how we're looking, guys. It's not perfect, but I'm not a detailer. But I think that's pretty good. This bedside is completely sanded. After, I'm gonna say, a couple days, I think like 3 days of trying on and off, I found what works the best. So originally I was using a DA with 1500 grit, and it was working, but the problem was the DA would clog up. So I was wet sanding and it would clog up still. So I would dry sand and continuously wipe the truck off, and it kept clogging up. So then I tried hand sanding it, and that wasn't working either. So then I just went back to the DA, and I was just working the DA, working the DA, working the DA. And today I was like, all right, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna buy a block so I can block sand it. I'm gonna buy a couple packs of sandpaper. And while I was in Walmart, I found this. And this is a game changer. So it's a sanding sponge. One side is a 1500 and the other side's 1000. And guys, let me tell you, when I say game changer, I mean absolute game changer. So sanding the whole tailgate took me like an hour and a half with the DA. And it's got waves in it. I'm sure you guys can see on camera. Yeah, you can kind of see it if we focus on over here. There's waves in the paint. I'm not denying it. You guys are all gonna see this truck in person, and I'm not gonna deny that there's waves in the paint. This paint is not perfect, but for my first time painting and how much flake is in this, I am very happy with it. Not complaining whatsoever. That took me an hour and a half. I just did half the bedside in like, I'd say 30 minutes with that sanding sponge. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna sand the entire truck and then I'll just polish the whole truck. I've been like sanding a section and polishing it to make sure it comes out good. But I'm just gonna go around and sand the entire truck. And hopefully be done with this today, because I have to finish the truck today, back it out into the driveway. I have to paint the sway bars, I have to paint the bracket that goes on the front bumper. Brandon forgot to bring up the skid plate, which not a big deal. I kept the old one just in case, so we're not gonna be painting that. But we've got the sway bar, the little bracket piece that goes on the front bumper, and the end link brackets for the sway bar links. Have to paint all of those and wire my rock lights, put my new fender liners in, and I think we're done. I have to tighten the whole suspension down, polish the forces. Oh, I have to paint the rear shocks. Guys, I've got like so many different things, and I have like 50 something hours to do it all. It's about to get really interesting. So I'm gonna give you guys the best look at this that I can as a before. You guys can see the orange peel. Let's look at the reflection. I mean, really, it doesn't look that bad on camera, but definitely has a lot of orange peel. You guys can see that. So that's our before, and I'll show you guys the after. All right, so this is going to be my update and end of the video. So I was out here until about 1:30 last night. I got the hood completely done, fender, door, this whole side except for the bottom is done. I didn't do the bottom because I saved it for last, because I wanted to make sure I had enough sandpaper to do the most visible areas like the doors, the fender, the hood, the bedside. No one's really gonna pay much attention to the bottom of the truck. But I do have enough sandpaper to do it, so I'm still gonna do it. Now let me show you the driver's side. Yeah, you guys are seeing that, right? Look at that. You guys can actually see a reflection. That is because I have sanded and polished it. Bed is completely done. I still have to second step this. I'm just doing a 2-step. I have a 4-step system, but I don't have 4 different pads. I would like to do a denim pad for my first step, then jump to like a wool pad or an orange pad, then go to your polishing pad, then your finishing pad. Well, there's no paint places near me that sell any type of correction pads, anything. So the only place is Harbor Freight, and I bought what they had, and that was an orange pad and a blue pad, which is compound and polish. So I'm just running with a 2-step system. I'm doing a super heavy fast cut for my first step, and then I'm doing a cutting polish for my second step, and it seems to be working pretty well. What I did with the bed, and if you guys can tell, it's pretty freaking reflective. I mean, for once you can actually see me in it. Now, I've done the bed. I have to second step the bottom. I have to first step the bottom here, First step the bottom there, second step the doors, and second step the fender. The whole reason I haven't second stepped and I've just been going is I just didn't feel like changing pads. I figured while I have the orange pad on, I'll run with it, get everything done, then go back through with our second step. But mainly from the cab back is done until you get to this side. And I'm going to tackle it here in a little bit. I have to go inside and eat lunch because my polisher is completely overheating, and that is how my grinder broke. It got too hot and locked up, so I'm going to give it a little bit so it doesn't break because I don't want to go buy another one. So I'm going to take a break for a little bit, but just want to show you guys an update on the truck, and this is where I'm going to close the video out. I mean, you guys get to see how good it's turning out compared to what it was. So if you guys made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. Drop a like on this video. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. If you guys are going to be in Daytona Truck Meet, I'm not sure if I'm gonna get this video up before I get to Daytona or what. I'm gonna try and start editing it right now and hopefully have it posted tonight or tomorrow. Not quite sure yet, but if you guys are gonna be in Daytona, please come see me, come get a picture with me, come get a picture with the truck. I'd love to see you guys. I'd love to meet you guys in person. I love you all. Thank you. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.